He sits beside me, still as moonlight, vast as a cathedral of silence. The Mantis, all limbs and light, folded like a living sculpture. His iridescent exoskeleton flickers in the dim cockpit glow, refracting greens and opal pinks with every breath. If he even breathes, I've never been sure. His mind is a garden of equations and ancient calm. He doesn't speak, but I always feel him thinking, like music with no sound. We've traveled together before, across nebulas and timelines, but today is different. Today, we are tourists. I stretch my legs beneath the console, talons clicking gently against the obsidian floor. My fur stirs with static from the ship's hum, solar-charged, alive. I reach forward and brush the control glyphs with a flick of my claws. The glass responds with a shimmer, and outside, the cosmos begins to fold. We are en route to a dream, not a metaphor, a literal one. A dimension discovered by accident, born from the residual emotional frequency of a young planet, Earth. Somehow, their collective nostalgia, their longing for joy and sweetness, crystallized into reality. The scans confirmed it. Atmosphere of vaporized glucose, terrain composed of a fibrous confection the humans call cotton candy. I almost laughed when I saw the data, but the Mantis simply bowed his head in reverence. He understands. Dreams, no matter how foolish, are sacred. Now we sit in the cockpit, starlight cascading over our faces, ready to descend into a realm shaped not by gravity or logic, but by the memory of childhood delight. I close my eyes for a moment, and I wonder, what part of me will awaken there? We are almost through now, drifting in a corridor of pink clouds so thick and warm, it feels like being wrapped inside a memory. The ship hums in rhythm with something old, something playful. A lullaby the stars must have forgotten, but this place remembers. Outside, light bends, not harshly, like melted glass, soft and slow. And in it, movement. At first, I think it's weather, then dreams. Then I see them, shapes, creatures, born of something earthly, but remade through the lens of wonder. Wings that shouldn't hold flight, bodies stitched from softness and color. Some with long limbs, others coiled like smoke. They resemble animals I've seen cataloged in Earth's databanks. Gentle, beloved things, bears, birds, cats, elephants. But here, they are only echoes, impressions sculpted from sugar air and nostalgia. They drift and prance and hover, not as wildlife, but as living art. The kind of life a child might imagine, and the stars might try to forget. They do not seem to notice us, or perhaps they remember us differently. The Mantis beside me shifts, barely, but I feel his stillness change, a reverent pause like prayer under breath. Then the clouds open. Below us, the world gleams like syrup poured too slowly. Swells of landscape, melting hills, coiled ribbons, things that pulse like dreams not yet dreamed. And in the center of it all, a city, or something pretending to be one. Its structures reach and bend, curl and lean, composed not of stone or steel, but something emotional, soft, impermanent, like a thought caught mid-spark. And there, moving through the glimmer, humanoids, loose-limbed, faceless, half-luminous. They dance, or play, or perform gestures so strange I can't tell if it's ritual, joy, or both. One rides a spiral that moves like water. Another gently presses their hands into a wall that shifts color with every touch. Nothing here obeys reason, and nothing asks me to. We never land. There's no need. We're not really here, not in the way we know presence. We drift, somewhere between approach and immersion, weightless, watching, sensed more than placed, The city receives us, not physically, but with its feeling. It folds open like a soft mind, dreaming itself visible. Structures shimmer below, layered like ripples across a memory. Nothing holds still. Walls drift slightly, staircases loop inward, archways bloom and fold like petals, unsure if they should remain. The air seems thick with forgotten intention. It isn't built, it's becoming. Forms move through it, beings maybe, or thoughts with shape. Their outlines bend as they pass, soft edges pulling apart like syrup and reforming, always just beyond recognition. Some float, others bounce gently as if pulled by tides no gravity defines. They perform gestures, rituals, habits, around objects that pulse with light. One dips their hand into something glowing, and the light turns liquid. Another leans into a column that sighs when touched. There is no language, no obvious purpose, yet everything feels known, deeply. Above them, the sky pulses with drifting shapes, animal-like but softened. Creatures that seem remembered, not real. A trunk lifted, wings spread, fur that dissolves in the breeze. Familiar silhouettes reimagined in sweetness and light, like childhood sketches left out in the rain. The mantis beside me is perfectly still, yet I can feel him perceiving, deeper than sight. His antennae flick through frequencies I can't name. His consciousness gently taps the edges of the dream. We're not interacting, not interfering. We're simply witnessing. And in this place, that is enough. The dream does not ask to be understood, only felt, only honored. We drift a little farther, letting it pass through us, this softness, this almost reality, this living trace of something Earth once whispered into its stars. And then, nothing changes, but everything deepens. The realm unravels around us like silk loosening in water, not collapsing, not fading, but ascending back into the dream space it came from, a realm never meant to be held, only touched. The sky folds into itself. The figures blur into shimmer. Even the sugar-colored beasts, so alive just moments ago, become echoes, like thoughts you almost remember upon waking. And then, stillness. But not the absence of movement, the kind of stillness that holds meaning, that listens. I feel it now. This place was never a world. It was a message, not given in words, but in symbol, in softness, in impossibility. A dream not dreamt by one mind, but by many. A memory woven from innocence, from sweetness long forgotten, from the yearning of 1,000 childhoods who once wished the sky was made of sugar, and that joy was a place you could visit. And for a moment, it was. The mantis is still, as am I. But something in both of us shifts, like a page turned by wind. What was real? What was imagined? There is no difference here. For the dream that leaves you changed was always a kind of truth. We do not return, we awaken, and the dream returns to dreaming us. The dream fades behind us, soft and slow, like sugar dissolving in light. I still feel it, its warmth, its wonder, the strange hush that wrapped around us like silk. We didn't stay. We were never meant to. But something stayed with us. A quiet joy, a trace of meaning that doesn't need to be named. The mantis is still beside me, silent as always, but I can feel it. He carries the echo too. Our vessel hums, already turning toward another shimmer on the edge of stars. Something new, something waiting. Another adventure calls. And with the dream still glowing faintly in our hearts, we begin again.